In the year 2026, humanity is facing an invisible crisis that no pharmaceutical company wants to solve. It is not a plague of the blood, but a plague of the pace. You wake up every single morning feeling like you have already lost a war you didn't even know you were drafted into. You reach for your smartphone before your eyes can even adjust to the morning light, and in that single, devastating microsecond, you have already surrendered your biological sovereignty. This is Dr. Thorne, and today, we are going to dismantle the complex mechanics of your exhaustion. We are going to talk about the cortisol reset. We are going to expose exactly why your body is stuck in a permanent, grinding state of high alert and how you can flip the switch from mere survival to absolute biological dominance. The modern world has weaponized your ancient stress response against you, and it is time you learned how to take the trigger back into your own hands. Your body is equipped with a brilliant, primordial alarm system that has been perfected over millions of years of evolution. When your ancestors saw a predator lurking in the shadows of the tall grass, their adrenal glands would instantly flood their system with a massive surge of cortisol. This was a miracle of biological engineering. It diverted energy away from non-essential functions like digestion, cellular repair, and immune surveillance to provide a sudden, explosive surge of glucose to the muscles. It was a system designed to save your life during 5 minutes of intense, life-or-death action. But in the year 2026, the predator never retreats into the shadows. The predator is in your pocket, vibrating in your inbox, and glowing in the artificial blue light reflecting off your bedroom walls at 3 a.m. Your biology thinks it is being hunted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are living in a permanent state of emergency power, and your biological batteries are not just low, they are physically leaking their charge into the void of the digital abyss. The great tragedy of our digital age is that we have tragically mistaken being busy for being truly alive. Chronic high cortisol is not just a feeling, it is a silent, corrosive acid that eats away at your potential. It acts like a chemical solvent on your hippocampus, the very part of your brain responsible for forming new memories and regulating your emotional stability. This is what creates the dreaded cortisol belly, a specific type of toxic visceral fat that no amount of traditional cardio can burn because it is a hormonal defense mechanism, not a simple caloric imbalance. Your body is desperately holding on to every ounce of energy and every gram of fat because it believes a famine or a global war is imminent. You are not lazy, and you are certainly not out of shape by choice. You are hormonally hijacked, a prisoner in your own skin. To reclaim your vitality, we must first stop the alarm from ringing incessantly. We must implement a radical, non-negotiable reset of your autonomic nervous system. Most of you have been conditioned to believe that caffeine is your ultimate morning ally, but in the reality of 2026, it has become a fragile biological crutch that is snapping under the immense weight of your cumulative exhaustion. When you consume high doses of caffeine immediately upon waking, you are committing a profound act of chemical sabotage against your own DNA. You are artificially blunting the natural cortisol awakening response, the precise biological mechanism your body needs to clear out the toxic metabolic debris accumulated during sleep. You are layering chemical stress on top of existing biological stress, forcing your weary adrenal glands to whip a horse that is already dead from overwork. By 2 p.m., the inevitable crash hits your nervous system like a freight train, and you reach for another cup, creating a vicious cycle of dependency that masks the underlying decay of your mitochondrial health. You aren't generating energy anymore, you are simply borrowing it from a tomorrow that you can no longer afford to pay back. The secret to true, unshakable energy is never found in a bean, a pill, or a synthetic supplement, it is found in the delicate cortisol-adenosine balance. To reset this fundamental equation, you must master the first 90 minutes of your waking life. In my 2026 health protocol, the first rule is absolute and non-negotiable: no caffeine for the first 120 minutes of the day. You must allow your body's natural chemistry to stabilize without external interference. You must trade the cheap, artificial jolt of the espresso machine for the primordial spark of the sun. This means light, real, natural, unfiltered sunlight must hit your retinas within the first few minutes of your day. This sends a high-speed, direct signal to the master clock in your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, informing every cell in your body that the night is over and the repair cycle is complete. If you bypass this ancient ritual, you are effectively trying to navigate a high-performance vehicle with a shattered GPS. You might be moving fast, but you are headed straight for a catastrophic burnout. We are currently witnessing a global collapse in what I define as mitochondrial integrity. Our cells are struggling to produce ATP because they are drowning in the oxidative stress caused by chronic cortisol elevation. When your cortisol is high, your mitochondria, the power plants of your life, switch from energy production mode to cellular defense mode. In defense mode, they stop making the fuel that keeps you sharp and start producing inflammatory signals. This is why you feel tired but wired. You have plenty of stress hormones circulating, but zero actual cellular energy. In 2026, the people who thrive will not be the ones who drink the most coffee, but the ones who have the cleanest cellular engines. We must stop the leak before we try to refill the tank. In the year 2026, we must transition from being helpless victims of stress to becoming the absolute masters of it. This is the art of adrenal alchemy. You must understand that stress is not inherently your enemy, it is simply raw energy that lacks a constructive direction. When cortisol is managed with surgical precision, it provides the sharpest mental focus and the highest physical output known to human biology. But to achieve this level of performance, you must learn the lost art of biological downshifting. Between the high-stress peaks of your professional day, you must implement 60-second windows of total, uncompromising nervous system silence. This is not meditation in the way the modern world understands it, this is tactical, biological recovery. By utilizing specific breathwork, long, controlled, extended exhales that exceed the length of your inhales, you are manually overriding your vagus nerve. You are hacking into the motherboard of your brain and sending a clear command: the predator has been defeated. The threat is gone. You are safe to repair now. In our current era, we are seeing a total collapse of hormonal resilience. Modern humans have become so artificially shielded from every form of physical discomfort that their mental discomfort has become an unbearable weight. To reset your cortisol, you must paradoxically introduce what I call strategic hardening. This is the great longevity paradox of our time. To lower your chronic, background stress, you must intentionally introduce acute, controlled physical stress. A 60-second blast of ice-cold water, a 3-minute period of intense breath retention, or a short burst of heavy physical resistance, these are the high-voltage signals that force your adrenal glands to recalibrate their sensors. They teach your biology how to turn the stress response on with power and, more importantly, how to turn it off with absolute precision. Most of you have simply lost the off switch. Your fight or flight response is stuck in the on position, and your biological gears are slowly grinding themselves into a fine, gray dust. Alchemy is the difficult process of turning that leaden exhaustion into golden, radiant vitality through disciplined, daily intervention. This hardening is what separates the survivors from the statistics in 2026. When you expose yourself to the cold, you are not just chilling your skin, you are forcing your body to produce cold shock proteins and norepinephrine, which act as natural antagonists to chronic cortisol. You are cleaning the slate. You are telling your DNA that you are a hunter, a survivor, a force of nature. This shuts down the victim signaling of the adrenal glands. If you spend your entire life at exactly 72 degrees Fahrenheit, with a screen in your hand and a snack in your mouth, your cortisol will never reset because your body never feels the challenge that triggers the reset. We were built for the edges of life, not the comfortable middle. The more you hide from the elements, the faster the elements of time will destroy you. The brutal war for your daily energy is won or lost in the 3 critical hours before you close your eyes for sleep. This is the vital phase of the nightly debridement, the essential cleaning of your biological and neurological slate. If your cortisol levels remain elevated when the sun goes down, your brain physically cannot produce the melatonin required for deep sleep. These 2 powerful hormones exist on a biological seesaw. When one is up, the other must, by law, be down. By staring at blue-lit screens late into the night, you are effectively shouting at your brain that the sun is still high in the sky. You are suppressing the very hormone that is responsible for repairing your DNA, regulating your immune system, and clearing out the neural toxins that lead to early-onset cognitive decline. You might be unconscious for 8 hours, but your brain is still running a frantic marathon in the pitch black of your skull. This is exactly why you wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck. You haven't rested, you have simply been sedated while your internal systems remained on a state of high-level nuclear alert. To fix your morning, you must first have the courage to fix your midnight. The 2026 Thorne protocol requires a mandatory digital sunset. You must disconnect your consciousness from the global hive mind at least 2 hours before you intend to sleep. You must also lower the ambient temperature of your sleeping environment to signal to your mitochondria that it is time for the deep biological cool down. This is the only time when your lymphatic system, the brain's specialized waste management service, actually turns on and begins its work. It flushes out the amyloid plaques, the metabolic sludge, and the chemical residue of the day's stress. If you skip this process because you were scrolling through meaningless, dopamine-triggering data, you are waking up every single day with a dirty brain. High cortisol is the physical wall that prevents the cleaning crew from even entering the building. If you break that wall down, you will discover a level of mental clarity and raw power that you haven't felt since you were a child. You were not designed to be a foggy-brained, exhausted servant to a digital algorithm. Furthermore, we must address the cortisol-melatonin gap. In 2026, we are finding that the average person has a melatonin peak that is 4 hours later than it should be. This is social jet lag. Even when you are sleeping, your cortisol is still trickling into your bloodstream, preventing the deep, restorative stages of REM and slow-wave sleep. To bridge this gap, we use dark therapy. For the final hour of your day, use only amber or red light. This mimics the setting sun and the ancient campfire, signals that our DNA has understood for 50,000 years. When you align your light exposure with the rotation of the planet, your cortisol naturally bows out, allowing the repair enzymes to take over. This is how you stop the leak. This is how you wake up with a full tank of biological high-test fuel. Ultimately, the cortisol reset is about much more than just balancing your hormones. It is about reclaiming the very essence of your human spirit. In a world of 2026 that profits immensely from your constant anxiety, staying calm has become a radical act of rebellion. In a world that wants you perpetually exhausted, distracted, and compliant, being truly energetic and focused is a revolutionary act. You are so much more than a collection of random chemical reactions. You are a biological masterpiece that has been conditioned by a predatory system to think it is nothing more than a malfunctioning machine. Dr. Thorne is not here to provide you with a simple lifestyle tip or a trending biohack. I am here to call you back to your true, unchained nature. You were built for endurance. You were built for the long, arduous hunt. You were built to thrive and dominate in the face of extreme adversity, not to wilt like a dying leaf under the weight of a simple smartphone notification. As we bring this 27th briefing to a close, I want you to make a solemn, unbreakable pact with your own biology. Stop treating your body like a broken enemy that needs to be drugged or caffeinated into a state of submission. Start treating it like the high-performance, sacred vessel that it truly is. Respect the ancient rhythms of the sun and the moon. Honor the power of silence in a world of noise. Challenge your muscles until they grow. Protect your sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. When you finally align your modern lifestyle with the primordial, unyielding laws of human existence, the exhaustion of the modern world simply disappears like mist under the morning sun. You will discover that you don't actually need more time in your day, you just need more of yourself in the time you have. This is Dr. Thorne. The reset has officially begun. Stay sharp, stay resilient, and above all, stay unchained from the system. The future belongs to those who have the courage to be rested. I will see you in the next briefing.